Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Lee James and
This is
this,
Colin.
and we are coming to you about what you should do before a run, specifically a race day, the night before, leading up to it the week of, and the morning of the race.
Yeah.
So we'll start essentially with what we do leading up the weeks and the kind of adjustments you have to make in your training and nutrition up until the night of the race. So let's kick it off.
Yeah.
What's the first point you think we should hit on the week leading up to the race, as in training?
So how to prepare for a race is first things first. You don't want to go heavy training the week of your race. So if you were gonna train the week of your race, you don't want to train too heavy. Meaning like you don't want to go out running high intensity workouts or like long mile runs. You kind of want to keep it down low a little bit. You want to keep active training, but you don't want to go too heavy. Like you don't want to go out and like kill a 3-mile run in like 19 minutes or something like that. You kind of want to decrease the intensity, kind of go like what if you're running like a marathon, running at that race pace.
Think of these as
Water.
recovery runs.
Yeah, like
Almost like all the runs leading up to a race are not for performance enhancement, they're for recovery enhancement.
Exactly.
So you're trying to get that lactic acid, all that fatigue just melted out of your legs. And a lot of people will just stop and just rest the days leading up to a race, thinking they put their aerobic base in, when in actuality, what you need to do is keep the motion, because it's a saying, motion is lotion. So as you keep moving, you keep your performance, but you also keep that like mental momentum and that physical momentum of I'm still training, I'm still moving, and you have this this ability. If you, let's say, 4 or 5 days out from the race, and you complete your last real hard training session, just flushing all that out with just water and just light work, which like brings all that soreness out, will help you recover faster come race day.
If you're also lifting while running, making sure if you're gonna lift as well on the week of the race, don't train too heavy. Like don't lift heavy weight. Like if you're doing leg day, you don't want to squat like your max, if not more.
No.
Or upper body. You don't want to bench like your max or further. You want to weight lift pretty light. You want to save your legs for the race. You want to save your upper body for your race.
You can go pretty good in the gym, but what you want to do is if you're going for very performance style, like powerlifting, real strength focused, I think you should switch to not even a hypertrophy, more of just kind of feeler set. You want to get in there, get it done, and feel good, because it's like that mental clarity. So what I would do is I pull back by 20 to 40% of the load, and maybe if I'm really feeling advantageous, I'll do a little higher rep, maybe upwards of 15 reps, just because then you get a little more endurance.
Yep, that's good. So now that you know the training portion, or the training prep leading up, now we're gonna get into what you should be eating and what you should be drinking, all that stuff. So first things first, water. Don't know how many times we stress this enough. Hydrate every time you're doing a run. Hydrate every day, especially leading up to a race. You always want to make sure you're drinking enough water. Like the night before, even the day of the race. You want to make sure you're hydrating.
A good rule of thumb is if you feel like you're thirsty, you are way too dehydrated. You want to just take as much water back as you can comfortably, and be able to put back. I suggest somewhere between 60 ounces of water for an average adult to about 90 ounces of water in a day. This is way more than most Americans drink. Most Americans basically drink 1 water bottle and then a whole bunch of pop a day. So I would like you to get close to like 3/4 of a gallon up until the end of the day. Then you can pull back water at the end of the day, because you don't want to, have an accident at night.
Or if you want to measure it by a gallon size milk.
Yeah.
Probably either drinking 3/4 or to the whole thing. what you should eat before. Then I would say the night before the race. So
Yeah, the night before the race is really the time that you absorb most of it.
exactly.
So,
very
like,
important too.
what I can see him saying is eat carbs.
Eat
Don't be afraid
carb-
of them carbs.
Eat pasta. Eat some protein like meatballs or something like that, and then also maybe some vegetables like a salad, just so your body.
You don't have to eat broccoli. Like, broccoli
No.
isn't for everybody, but try to eat something green and then something very colorful, because the more color it has, the more nutrients it has.
Exactly. You want to make sure the night before. The night before, they always say it's a very important part because obviously you're eating dinner and all that. So you want to make sure you have a very good dinner, like eating pasta, maybe having some meatballs, and then a salad, and then also one time pasta dinners for cross country for me. When we have pasta dinners, we used to have garlic bread and stuff.
Ooh.
Yeah, some good
Yeah,
stuff.
I'll get a good run from
Good old garlic bread.
On the topic of water, just like we talked about earlier, drink enough water. It's also important that you get electrolyte sources with your food and water, because you salt your food, that's very good. You want to, like, your pasta. Okay, let's be honest. You can't have pasta without salt, right?
Yeah.
So you gotta have salt and potassium, and that's very good to get the night before, because it gets into the channels. And if you could cramp up. Like, have you ever had a run where you just start cramping up?
I can't count on my fingers how many times I've cramped up.
I had a calf cramp. I limped home about a whole 2 miles.
That's called calf tightness.
No, it wasn't just tightness.
Oh, it wasn't tightness.
There's a ball in my calf.
You felt a ball in.
No, I looked down. I was wearing shorts.
It was a ball.
There's a hole in my
Wow.
calf from the cramp, and I was
I
like,
haven't had it that bad.
oh, dude, it was so painful. I sat down on the ground and just like rolled around like a little baby. I'm like, it hurts so much.
See, I've had calf tightness where my calf tightens up and cramps, and I'm like limping because limp running because of the fact that it hurts.
Yeah.
Sleep.
Oh yeah.
Make sure you get to bed.
Get those
good
Z's.
time.
I want you to have those cartoon Z's popping out of your head when you're sleeping.
Exactly. Get plenty of sleep the night before, because sleep is also important the night before leading up to the day of the race. So now we'll move on to the day of the race.
That morning.
That morning when
Pound back water.
that morning when you wake up, hit that water. Make sure you eat a good breakfast. Nothing dairy. Stay away from dairy in the morning because that's how you digest in your system. So
I've never had problems with dairy. I've actually had like coffee and stuff. But from what he tells me and what I've heard other people, I've had one run with people that had like a milkshake or something. They get intense stomach cramps, and maybe I'm a non-responder to that. But from what I can tell, it is the worst feeling ever.
Yeah, having dairy the morning of a race is bad because dairy is heavy, and it takes longer for it to digest in your system. So I ran for so long. I've heard this so many times. I'm gonna tell you guys too. Make sure you eat something not dairy, some easy to digest in your system, like maybe a protein bar or banana.
Protein bars are dairy. You do realize that, right?
Oh, not protein bar. No, okay, not protein bar. Scratch that.
Scratch that. I think something like fruit would be good, like bananas.
Natural Valley bars, or like bananas, or
like watermelon, really good hydration.
Or bread, or
like honestly, just have some toast with some eggs.
Toast and eggs, Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, no, stop the Pop-Tarts. You like them Pop-Tarts.
I like them Pop-Tarts.
Okay, Pop-Tarts are good, but like, come on, man.
It's sugar, but
sugar, it gets the job done.
It gets the job. Sugar high. You always get that sugar high. Even that one time my mom she only got like a couple hours of sleep. She ate sugar. She had coffee and a crumble cookie. Sometimes
you want to eat something long enough behind that it digests and start being utilized, but not so far away that like you're already using all that energy, but not too close that you haven't digested it because it could hurt your stomach.
Yeah.
So you want to find that sweet spot. Everybody's different. So experiment with like training runs and eating your meal in different times, and then apply that to your race day. Because that's a little trial and error that you have to do prior to your race.
Yeah.
So I personally like oatmeal. It really just good for me. And I usually have it about 90 to like maybe 2 hours before a workout, and it works out very good for me. I also like cream rice. Cream rice I can get digested really fast, and I will do that. I'll do that maybe as close as 40 minutes for a run. just because I've eaten rice so much and it just digests so well for me. Like, what do you go to like pre-race meals?
Trying to think other than
Pop Tarts.
yeah.
The boy loves his Pop Tarts.
Well, I haven't had like rice for breakfast before or anything.
It's like clear rice. It's like oatmeal but rice.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't had oatmeal either. I mean, I've had other things. There's been times I did have cereal, but that's because my race was not like till like 3 hours
Yeah.
before. 3, maybe almost 4, depending on what time I had to run.
Don't you break the cardinal rule? No dairy.
Yeah, I kind of break it, but that's only because
You had so much time for digest.
I have so much time. Like if it's 3-4 hours, then it's fine. But if it's like maybe an hour or two, I stay away from it. But so
on that note,
yeah.
So still food wise, and we talked about the drink of water, but a lot of people will also drink caffeine, like coffee. I would say stay away from energy drinks because they have a lot of other ingredients that may not be beneficial for you. If you're gonna drink some with sugar and it's gonna be a short race, drink it quite close to your race. What would you say about that? Like if you're drinking like orange juice or something, would you drink close to the race or like with your breakfast?
I would say kind of with your breakfast, because you want to just keep drinking water throughout until the race, leading up to your time of race.
And let's cycle back to the water real quick.
Yeah.
So we talk about electrolytes and cramps.
Yeah.
So this is a little tip that I use. I actually used it like 2 nights ago. So a lot of people have pink Himalayan sea salt, right? And I didn't have any electrolytes or any like Gatorade. What you can do is take like a pinch. I mean, you will barely taste it. A pinch of sea salt and put it in your water and sip that, and that's really good for a little bit of sodium.
Yeah. If you're talking about cramping, ways to get rid of a cramp is one, deep breathing, like breathing in deep, breathing out. And also I learned a trick back in middle school. Like if the cramp is on this side, kind of just putting your hands like this, leaning towards it, and like probably just do that for like maybe 5-10 seconds and then letting go and just keep going. That's another trick to.
I don't know how this is an urban legend maybe, but you talk about side cramps.
Yeah, just go
I've
like
heard
this.
that side cramps actually happen because of the way you breathe on each step. So that's another tip. But let's keep going. So we talked about the food, nutrition,
Days.
So here's how you should pack. Gear. So you should have your shoes, and you should be. I don't suggest having a pair of shoes that you are not comfortable with.
Exactly.
You should have some miles put on these shoes so that you know how it feels on your feet. You're not striding differently, and you actually are accustomed to it. So something close to your training shoes, but maybe a little bit different just because they're for performance.
Yes, running mistake happens where if you buy new shoes and if you don't train in them, lean up to the race. Like if you buy new shoes and your first run in them is a race, bad mistake. You want to make sure when you're training, making sure you get some miles in those shoes, get them wet, get them kind of flowing.
Break them in, basically.
Break them in, basically, yeah. Just break them in a bit, so when it comes to your race, you have some miles in the shoes, and you already know, the stride and step and all that stuff in those shoes. So making sure the gear, you have great shoes, making sure you have great shoes, good running shoes, making sure, depending on the weather, a shirt, like a short sleeve shirt.
Yeah, so you are always going to warm up without a run.
Exactly.
Trust me. If you haven't ran in like the spring and like where we live, it's chilly. But as soon as you get out there, like 5 minutes, you are sweating.
Exactly, light clothing.
Yeah,
like
actually,
a light like a light shirt, something that's like reflective and like in the materials like light.
You want something that's
breathable.
It's breathable. I prefer what's called wicking cloth.
Yes.
It's like these mesh that actually pulls the moisture away from your body. So one, you don't get cold from your own sweat, and two, you just feel a lot better. You don't feel greasy and sweaty.
And speaking of wicking material, making sure you're wearing wicking socks.
I have never worn wicking socks, and I have to.
Socks are also very important because not only the shoes are important, but the socks. You want to make sure you're wearing, like runners always suggest, especially myself, wicking socks. There's some because they're not something heavy like your normal average normal socks.
Yeah, like cotton socks.
Yeah, cotton. You want to wear wicking, something that's good, and also because obviously when you're wearing the shoes, like I said, when you're stepping, you want to make sure you have like a comfortable a comfortable step, especially when you're running the sock inside. You want to make sure it's good, and you're not, because if you're wearing cotton socks, I don't know, blisters.
Yeah.
And you don't want to deal with blisters. But yeah, so the socks, the shoes, the shirt, the shorts as well. Some light
And underwear is actually a weird thing that nobody talks about.
Yes, it's very weird. But
get underwear that is like neoprene or compression that doesn't have any seams. So like you wearing tighty whities, bad mistake. Don't wear them. Don't wear boxes either, because I've actually worn those on runs, and my inner thigh will I have pretty big legs, so my thighs actually get pumped from a run, and it the pants, the underwear will wrap around my leg and cut a ring around my leg. So I suggest something that's very stretchy, spandex, not a lot of stitching seams, something that's like a one piece, and it's also very non abrasive. Something that when you lace pass by each other, because we're talking about lifters and runners who do both, so more than likely you have pretty big legs. So you will have that issue of chafing, which is good when you have that material. It won't chafe, it won't ride, and most importantly, wear the right size underwear.
Yes.
Come on. Don't have your underwear fall down in your pants.
Exactly, that would be bad. Yeah, so, underwear, socks, shoes, shirt, shorts, wearing some comfortable shorts as well. Something that's breathable.
Yeah.
As well on that. And then if you want to do something like, I don't know, call it flex gear, something you want to show off, like a hat, some cool sunglasses, shades, just to kind of,
Got a little flair.
Add a little flair to your gear.
Yeah, we're not saying go around dressed like Barney or anything.
Exactly.
But that has happened.
But yeah, so if you want to, with the gear that you have on, if you want to, just show off or look cool, like what I have, a hat and then some sunglasses.
Yeah.
You
for me, I haven't gotten enough runs to have my own flair yet. But I think if I had a flair, I would have a bandana or something.
Oh yeah, people like bandana, headbands, hat, sunglasses.
Yeah.
I've ran so much, I could put flair on it because, or arm bands, or
yeah. I've seen those arm sleeves. Yeah.
Arm sleeves.
Have fun with it. This is not. This is supposed to be fun. You don't just go running because I hate running. Have some fun.
Exactly. Sometimes I wear high socks for runs too. It's like wicking high socks that come up all the way to your calves. I've worn those before. Those are pretty cool. And then obviously calf sleeves too, but those are if you're have an injury somewhat, if you got calf tenderness. But yeah, add a little flair to your gear.
Yeah.
Wear something that's pretty cool.
So we talked about nutrition, water, food, gear, training.
Now,
so
the course.
The
race.
If you can, walk the course or just run the course before you actually do the race, so you get used to the terrain.
Yeah.
Also, if you know the area, prepare for the weather.
Exactly.
Because the weather will change the way the ground feels on your feet. The weather will change just your mood. Your mood is almost everything in a run.
Mentality. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you're like, oh, this is gonna suck, you're not gonna run fast. Exactly. If you're like, yeah, let's go, you're just gonna zoom. You're not even gonna care.
Exactly. If it's something longer, like a half marathon or marathon, making sure you're looking at the map of the course is also important.
I actually made the mistake of going the wrong way at one point, and hey, no, over here, and I'm like, oopsie.
But also, if it's like a big race, like a long big race, just following the crowd as well.
Yeah, I think we should end off on the most important thing about race morning or race day: getting the mind right.
Yes.
You got to be in the mentality. I have a bad habit of holding back, especially on runs and stuff, and only pushing at the end, and not pacing myself. So if you know the distance, you know the route, you know all this stuff, you want to kind of mentally go in your head, and you want to just kind of visualize how it's going to go, because visualization really helps your body kind of prepare neurologically with what you're about to do. Because if I'm going on, for example, I just told my column about the race, the run that I did yesterday at my parents' house, which I used to live with my parents for about 3 years when they moved to this new house. And my mind, I did the same warm up I did that I almost never do now, because it was the same scenario. It was the same trail that I've ran like 100, maybe 200 times, and I knew where to do what, because I get out there, I get in the driveway, I stretch a little bit, I do active priming, and I jump a little bit, and then I just go out there, and I know the turns, I know the uphills, the downhills, which is what we talked about just before, knowing the terrain, but also mentally knowing like the pushes, because if you know you have to push uphill and you're thinking, oh, am I gonna make it, am I gonna make it, knowing mentally that you know that this push is like maybe 20-30 seconds of push uphill, you mentally like, oh, I've got this. So get the mind right and have the mentality of, I have this, I'm prepared, because all this training we've been talking about and bringing up in, not in this video but in other videos about how to train, it all comes together in this one moment where you have the culmination of experience that then lets you fully actualize your ability to run this course the best you can. So because I've ran this course at my parents' house so many times, I knew when to pick it up, when to push, when to pull back. If I'm going uphill for a real long time, I will pull back and slow down because I know I can push downhill and make it to the time because I know the downhill. Knowing the course, mentally preparing in your head, kind of mapping it out, and just getting that mentality of I'm gonna win is very important. Comment down below if this helped you, if you have anything that you guys do that may be weird or just out there.
Something different.
Yeah, maybe like cryotherapy or something weird.
That could be helpful for us. And also, yeah, if this is helpful.
Because we're actually trying to grow a community. So comments, and we may actually respond to a comment in a reel if it's good enough. So if you comment something kind of out there and it's noteworthy, expect the reel to come.
Expect one of us to respond, whether it be on the main channel or one of our personal channels.
Yeah.
And like I said, if you made that this far into the video, make sure you like this video.
Like the damn video.
Like he said, comment down below any suggestions, like things that that you've done that we may have not done that may be we may do that to see what it's like, and also also comment like what you thought of this, if this is helpful, if this
if you did it stupid, put a comment down below because even negativity is good stuff.
Let your haters be motivators.
Let your haters be motivators.
But and then also subscribe to this channel.
Yes.
Subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to our personal channels.
We'll put those personal channels
in the description below.
We post every Tuesday, if not twice, if we have more stuff. So look forward to another video coming next Tuesday. We love each and every one of you.
Yes, and live, laugh, and love fitness.
Peace.
We'll see you later. Peace out.